This is Andi Purewal for Boxing Social in association with Pursue Fitness, and I'm joined by Matchroom Boxing CEO Frank Smith. Frank, how are you doing?
I'm very well, mate. Enjoying summer?
I am indeed. It's been a busy one, to be fair, so far. Usually as well, August is the quiet month, but it hasn't necessarily worked out like that as of yet.
No, there's no season now. We just go 24/7 every day of the week. We're just announcing new things. So it's exciting. It's good for the sport. Good for your views.
Yeah, good for our views. Look, mate, you always boost our views, Frank.
Not me. I think he's the taller version, slightly skinnier.
Looking very sharp as well today, Frank. I did cop you on the way and I said to you, looking very sharp for a change.
I put on a bit of weight, to be honest. So it's coming towards the end of summer for me. I need to get back in the gym, I think. The suit used to fit me.
As you mentioned...
You ran it, I think you were like...
I
didn't know whether to say, no, you look all right, or just go into...
Yeah, I didn't know whether to keep on bantering you or to move on, so we'll move on. We've obviously come down today for the announcement press conference of Ruiz-Joshua's bid to win his world titles back from Andi Ruiz-Joshua out in Saudi Arabia. There's a lot which has gone on over the weekend which has seemed to have suggested that the fight contracts hadn't been signed by Andi Ruiz's side, which we will come on to. But firstly, how come Saudi Arabia for the rematch?
I think, if you look into what Saudi Arabia as a country have been doing recently and the investment they've made into sport, shows their hunger to really develop sports, not just boxing, but Formula E, WWE, Royal Rumble I was talking about earlier, which apparently is the greatest Royal Rumble. You watch WWE?
Not anymore.
I used to. I'm the same as you. I used to love WWE. Now I'm a bit... He does. He still loves it down there. But, they've had some huge events there and they're still growing, still putting on some massive events, and I know they've got a lot in the pipeline. So it's exciting to work with a partner who has a vision to grow and build not just boxing, but sport in general.
Obviously, when the rumours first came out that he may be in Saudi Arabia, the British fans got wind of it and not necessarily happy about it. They all expected the rematch to either take place here or obviously back in America, most probably have been in Madison Square Garden once again. What's your initial thoughts to the fact that the fans didn't necessarily react in the way that you would have probably liked?
I think people, they don't necessarily have an understanding of what, a flight to Saudi Arabia is probably the same price as a flight to New York, for example. We're going to put on some good packages for the good packages for the fight fans from the UK, and hope to bring a huge travelling audience. We're building it up for between 12 and 15,000 people, and I think it's going to be a great atmosphere out there. I'm really looking forward to getting out there. It's a huge event.
Do you think it's going to be one of those though that could be a difficult sell in the sense when you go to places like New York? The laws and the way of life is a lot more, I don't want to word this correct, but it's not as strict over here with regards to being able to drink, etc. Obviously, we see with British boxing fans, everyone loves to go out there, loves to have fun and enjoy themselves. Everything will be a bit more strict out in Saudi Arabia. With regards to the other side of the boxing, do you think that's what's going to be a hard sell, because there won't be as much for British boxing fans to do out in Saudi Arabia? Literally watch the fight. Away from that, can't imagine they'd have a lot to do.
No, look, I think Eddie alluded to it in the press conference. We're going to work to put on some huge events around this boxing event. They've, as we saw in the promo video that we played as well. When they had the Formula E, they had a huge concert with David Guetta the night before. I think 2 nights of huge concerts. We're going to look to try and do the same with our partners out there. So it's very exciting to do a huge event like that.
What do you make of obviously the difference in the ways of life over there? For example, I know you've touched on it in the past interview, the way that women are maybe treated out there, some of the laws that they have. Obviously, we've mentioned alcohol and the bans that they have in place. What are your thoughts on, including the way that they treat some journalists as well? What are your thoughts with regards to their way of life compared to the way that we have it over in the UK?
I think you bring up things like alcohol. You have to respect other countries' cultures. You go to different places. I travel a lot. I see a lot of different things in all different countries I go to, and you have to respect the cultures and the laws, etc., of the places you go to. I think there's a lot of people are quite naive as to the thing of treatment of women, etc. You saw in that promo video, male, female, everyone enjoying a great night. So I think people have to sort of study and understand a little bit more before they talk about it, because a lot of the time people don't always look at the actual true facts. They just look at what other people say who don't really know the truth about it.
How would you appease, if you could just maybe give the British boxing fans just a bit of reassurance, how would you appease any fears that they might have travelling out there? Obviously we know that there's a few borders that we have to be careful of in and around Saudi Arabia because of certain political situations that are going on? How would you try and just comfort any British boxing fans who are considering flying out there?
I think, we've had a few meetings today in the last few days. You look at the plans our partners and the GSA have in place for this event, they're second to none, honestly. What they're looking to put in place, the safety, etc., is second to none to any other country, and to sort of other places we could go to as well. So I think people, once we can release details on the packages, for example, and the travel packages for fans from the UK to go to, I think people will love it. I didn't actually go to the World Boxing Super Series that took place out there. I don't know if you were there, but a lot of people who have been said what a great experience it was, what a great place to go. So you can only, I think once people have been and see and then talk about it from there on, that will really help grow and develop people's understandings of the location.
And obviously it's taking place in Saudi Arabia. Eddie mentioned that a few other places had been discussed away from the UK and America. Were there any other curveballs that were in the running?
There was a few other locations. There was quite a few locations that were possible to host this fight. It's the biggest fight in world boxing. It's the biggest fight that's currently available. So, we looked at all possible options, and as I said earlier, Saudi Arabia made sense. We did, as you know, we had Cardiff was a possibility, MSG, Las Vegas, Abu Dhabi, Dubai, etc. A number of locations, but this event made a lot of sense in Saudi Arabia with what they're planning to do and what their vision is over a long period of time.
What's Anthony's views on it from your understanding? Obviously, he came out, he said he would have liked to have gone back to America, he would have liked it in the UK. What's his thoughts of it ending up out in Saudi Arabia?
Anthony's very excited. He's boxed all around the world now, both as an amateur, as a pro. US was, although not the experience and the win he got, what an experience that was for his career. I think he, wants to carry on building. He's very excited to take the fight in Saudi Arabia. I think when it comes down to it, the fight could be anywhere in the world. It could be in his back garden. He just wants to get in there and get that redemption, get the win back, and get the belts.
Now, as I mentioned at the start, there was a few rumours and reports that had surfaced over the weekend that the contracts hadn't necessarily been signed by Andy Ruiz's side. Manny Robles, his trainer, did an interview with another online outlet saying there was a reason behind Andy's silence over social media and not necessarily backing up whether or not the fight had been signed. What's your take on it all?
It's all signed. Andy Ruiz is signed up for the rematch. The rematch is taking place. So it's all a bit of games. Let you read into it.
Where do you think those reports would have stemmed from? When were the contracts signed, if that's the case?
I can't really go, but the contracts are signed, the rematch is happening. Andy Ruiz, has got to defend his belts against Anthony Joshua. So, again, we can't go into too much details of contracts. Maybe Eddie might talk a bit more than me. I'm always quite quiet with these things, but he's signed, and all September you'll see the press tour start.
So we can't be told the date of when the contracts were signed.
I haven't got it in front of me, to be honest, but it's all signed. The key is it's all signed. So Andy Ruiz is signed for the rematch against Anthony Joshua.
One thing that I did read was that Andy Ruiz wasn't necessarily happy with it being in Saudi Arabia, and that there was a stipulation in the contract that he had a set amount that he would earn from the rematch, and then rumours were flying about how much AJ would earn from it being out in Saudi Arabia. Was there any difficulties with regards to Andy Ruiz and the financial side of him wanting to go out in Saudi?
Again, it's another thing where it's all rumours. No one actually knows the true situation. There's a lot of rumours going around. A lot of people make things up. A lot of journalists make things up and then put them out as if they're the truth. So we're all in order on our end, and as I say, Andy Ruiz will defend his world titles against Anthony Joshua. But the details you see, it's all speculation from journalists who may not actually have the true knowledge.
If you compare, right, so last thing on the rumours, I weren't looking at you then, don't worry. Last thing on the rumours, obviously with the Dillian Whyte situation, for example, a lot of it came from Thomas Hauser and Boxing Scene just for one outlet. This time round, there's a few well-respected reporters who had maybe caught wind of something that may not have been right. When you compare the situations, do you think there might have been more truth in what they was trying to find out, or do you think there might have been less still?
I think all of these things, not many people outside of a small group of people actually know the facts. It's like you look at the reports, one person saying it's 20 million, one person saying it's 300 million. People say Michael Buffer earns $5 million a night, for example. There is an example. $5 million a night, that's amazing. I'm going to train to become an MC. But it's like all these people report things that they don't actually have the true knowledge of. You know, some people sometimes might guess it and get it right. Some people don't see the contracts outside of a very small group of people. So again, it's all a thing of people making up rumours, and I can't really, unless I go for every article, can't really say too much, can I?
Sorry, you can prep that for our next interview, Frank.
You're going to get every article.
Yeah, I'll send them to you.
Is this one right? Is this one right? You know.
That's the one. Obviously, you're going to early doors yet, but preparations for the undercard. We spoke in Liverpool about the improvement of your normal Saturday night fight nights.
Yep.
How are you going to try and juggle that then, knowing that you've got a lot of fighters who want to be on that undercard, but also trying to change the way you deliver the Saturday night fight nights?
Yeah, I think that's our job to do. You know, we've got a meeting this evening to go through our plans and start announcing very soon our plan for September, October. You know, we've got 110 fighters, I think, now we promote globally. So we have the talent there, we have the talent pool to choose from and make sure we deliver consistent quality events.
Obviously tomorrow as well, we'll see you back, well, I don't actually know where it is, but we'll see you somewhere in London, I assume, for Billy Joe Saunders. Is the rumoured name that you're going to be signing. Can you confirm that?
I don't actually know, mate, who it is. I just saw the graphic you saw, you know, with the question mark.
Yeah.
So I actually guessed underneath.
You just say you guessed?
Yeah, I guessed.
Who did you guess?
Who did I guess? I thought it was Mike Tyson.
That's an exclusive there. But Frank Smith, as always, I appreciate your time. Thanks, Beats Boxing Social.
Thank you, mate. Thanks for coming down. See you tomorrow.
Thank you. Cheers.